Hello guys, when I read Russian Telegram channels, I immediately turn on my sarcastic Anna regime, because how else can I process thousands of the questions when they genuinely ask each other or their local authorities about why there is no electricity in Murmansk, or where is the heating in Moscow, or why there are so many problems with utilities in Anhels, Saratov, Taganrog, or why nobody's saving people during this huge snowstorm in Kamchatka, forgetting one important reason: the Russian war against Ukraine, which millions of them supported. And they agreed to invest billions of their own money on the destruction of the Ukrainian cities, forgetting that after 4 years of such war, this will definitely empty their federal budget. And if at the beginning of the so-called special military operation it was possible not to maintain everything or to hide some problems in distant regions of the Russian Federation, after 4 years of such war, with a totally negative federal budget, these problems keep popping up, and I do have an extremely long list of Russian cities that right now do not have electricity, heating, running water, gas. You may say a similar situation right now is in Ukraine, and you are right, but the reason is different. Russians bomb our cities to turn off our electricity. And in case with Russian cities, it happens because they don't have money to maintain their country. Russia is destroying itself from inside. Thumbs up for that. My name is Anna. I'm from Ukraine. I'm in Ukraine. And if you want to see the defeat and demilitarization of Russia, which honestly is the only working peace plan, subscribe and share these videos to spread the truth and demonstrate your solidarity with Ukraine. So our Russian geography lesson today will be different. We will not visit the locations destroyed by the Ukrainian drones, but we will focus on the locations destroyed by Russia's economic mismanagement and an extremely wrong and evil choice that millions of their population made back in 2014, actually, not just 2022. It's so interesting to read questions, to read Russian forums, Telegram channels where they are very disappointed, anxious, angry. Some are without heating for longer than 10 days, as Engels in Saratov region, for example, and they keep asking, why is it happening? They are very, very angry, forgetting that they are the reason for all these problems. Their choices, beginning with Putin as their 25-year-long president and finishing with the so-called special military operation. Let me know in comments below, do you genuinely think they cannot see the connection, or is it a kind of escape? Because I sincerely do not know what to think. So perhaps let's begin with the most new case, and that is in Murmansk and also Severomorsk. Murmansk and Severomorsk are two cities located nearby. Murmansk is a big city, open city, and Severomorsk is a closed military base that is actually the main base of the Russian Northern Fleet. We've destroyed the Black Sea Fleet, and now they destroy their Northern Fleet by themselves because of negligence, because of lack of money and absence of proper maintenance. 5 pillars that were necessary for the functioning of some electric transmission station collapsed. 5, not 1. And they at first thought that these were Ukrainian or Russian saboteurs. And it's so funny to watch videos when local authorities report that there might be, you know, like a Ukrainian footprint or something, and then they look for it and they cannot find, because that's not our priority target. And then they agree that the reason is old infrastructure. For your attention, nothing changed with that pillars and that electric substation since 1966. So these people that do not have money, do not have resources to maintain the system that is necessary for the electricity on their main base of the Northern Fleet, choose to bomb Ukrainian kindergartens. And Murmansk is still in that blackout. The situation continues, caused by their own economic and utility mismanagement. Another target caused and destroyed by Russian poverty, absence of money in their federal budget and even the budget of Moscow, that is unproportionally big. I think I will look it up, but this size of Moscow budget is unproportionally big to the rest of the Russian territories. And there, a couple of districts like Podolsk, Khinki, Zhukovsky, Elektrostal, I had to put it down, are without electricity and heating. And as a Ukrainian, I can tell you it's difficult to be both without heating and electricity, because usually if you don't have heating, you may use electricity to heat your apartment, or if you have heating, it's easier to stay inside. And Russians right now use these low temperatures to target Kyiv, to target Kharkiv, Zaporizhia, Chernihiv, a lot of the Ukrainian cities. But we have these sufferings because of their intentional actions that are war crimes. And the heating system near Moscow is offline because of inside Russia problems, not the Ukrainian drones. We do not have that many, weapons, so we prioritize military targets and gas and oil infrastructure. Plus, we observe what is happening, and this domino effect with different Russian regions, with different utilities, only proves that this house of cards is collapsing. It was possible to, cover up something for the first year, for the second, but after 4 years, that Frankenstein is totally exhausted. And once again, it is so funny when they are looking for the Ukrainian saboteurs, or they are looking for, the Russian rebels, and then they find pillars that were built in 1966, and they, even with all their theories, do understand, well, these are just the Soviet technologies dying out. In Kamchatka, the people are experiencing a huge snowstorm, and it's nothing new. We had similar things in Ukraine. I know that people in the United States now go through harsh weather conditions, and unfortunately not only weather conditions. Remember, Ukrainians stand with you in the protection of freedom and democracy. And this snowstorm in Kamchatka is like a natural disaster, but in a healthy country, people are warned, people are protected, people know a couple of days or hours before it happens, and after it happens, they have cars, they have various things that can clean the roads, help the people. And in Kamchatka, they have a week with streets covered with snow up to the 3rd story of a building, and a lot of elderly people, children, families literally cannot go out because the snow is so high. We're talking about the northern part, and nobody is there to help them because they have no money left for that. They do not invest in these cleaning things that they need in such regions. Why? Because their priority was to destroy Ukrainian kindergartens. Please understand, because I often come across this comment from the Russian trolls, and we've discussed that yesterday on our live, when they keep asking me, and what about Kharkiv? What about electricity in Kyiv? What about heating in Zaporizhia? Yes, we may not have it, we have very harsh schedules, we have outages, but because they bomb our infrastructure and we don't bomb their infrastructure dies out as a Soviet dinosaur. That deserves a separate thumbs up. In Anhels, that is Saratov region, 10 days without heating. People perhaps stopped asking questions because they are frozen. Belgorod, Perm, Bryansk, Taganrog, Rostov, they are experiencing dozens of different problems. This is not one, this is not electricity or just gas. These are very different things being broken because nobody cared about them, nobody checked them, nobody repaired them, nobody maintained them. Why? Because they have an aim to demilitarize Ukraine. And they failed this aim too, because right now we are way stronger than we were back in 2022. Everyone in coal departments in Kyiv knows the reason is not our economic mismanagement, not our wrong choices, but the enemy. And we all know that the spring will come. And if Russians use frost as their only weapon, oh my god, they are so desperate. And their army is one of the triggers that can actually speed up the collapse of the Russian Federation, and that's exactly what we discuss on Anna Danilchuk channel. That is the newest video that I advise you to check, and let me know what you think in comments on that channel too. Follow me on X, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, Discord, all the links in the description of this video, and I also invite you to my Substack. Now, I hope you will receive a weekly newsletter with updates based on the topics that we discussed during the week on YouTube. I will pin it in the first comment. Check the merch shop for lots of good items that work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine, and we need that. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors on the channels, but most importantly, thank you for standing with Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!